let's speak to the NEET topper from Telangana, Mrinal Kutteri. Not only did he crack the coveted national eligibility cum entrance test, but he scored a perfect 720. It's over to Uma Sudhir.
Thank you, Gargi. A very good morning from Hyderabad, and I'm personally thrilled because this child has scored a perfect 720 on 720. Many congratulations.
Thank you,
you have been a consistently brilliant performer through childhood, I understand. But what did you do special for this one?
I don't know, it's not like I have a particular strategy, but the only thing that worked for me is what didn't work for others. Be it the way I approach the exam or my study schedule, like timetables work for others, it doesn't for me. So then I had a more free flow kind of study pattern. Like I used to start with a goal, like this day I have to do this much, but not with a timetable. So along the way I figured out, how to finish that in time. So I didn't have a set schedule because that never worked for me. In school also, actually, I've tried a lot to set timetables. Did not work. So I think that kind
People
of...
talk about 16 hours, 18 hours.
Yeah.
What is your schedule like? I know you didn't give up on your other hobbies and interests.
Not. Listening to 16 hours, 18 hours and all can be very daunting. Actually, I have a lot of other hobbies. I watch TV a lot. Like half of the world population, I was hooked on to Prime Video and Netflix this last year or so. Apart from that, I play video games a lot. Occasionally read books as well. So I have a lot of other hobbies. So I gave enough time for that. That's where actually I tried, in the timetable, like this much time for hobbies, this much time for studies, but that didn't work. So while studying, if I felt like I was feeling a little stressed or tired, I'd unwind for a while and then come back. So, and I never could manage 6. I haven't even come close, if I'm being honest. So around outside of college hours I can manage 4 hours, if I'm very lucky 5 hours really, but that's about it. And well, that worked for me, so
But that was intense and focused study.
Yes, that's where actually all the the breaks I took, it helped me. Like I felt happy in the sense that I was still able to pursue my other interests without compromising on my studies. So because of the fact that I took sufficient breaks, those 4 hours or 5 hours, whatever it was, I was able to make full use of that.
Okay, yours was an unusual year where you couldn't attend college at all, coaching classes at all. And how did that affect you? And the exam also got postponed from August once to again September.
So it affected me in only negative ways, if I'm being honest, in the beginning. I didn't usually watch a lot of TV. So when the pandemic struck, that's when I discovered Netflix culture, so to speak.
Oh You're really a bad influence for students saying
that. Yes, I know. So it was like, in the probably the most crucial year of my academics so far, that is when I discovered Netflix, which is really bad timing if I think about it. But so because of that, it was very easy to be distracted. As it is, you're surrounded by a laptop, a mobile phone and a TV at home, and if you're taking your classes also there. So in the beginning, I really wasn't very productive, if I think about it. But along the way, I'm not saying I became very productive all of a sudden. I still could manage only 4 hours, but I was able to make the best out of that time. So I think that's where, the pandemic, while it was a little, a bumpy road in the beginning, I managed later on.
Okay, what about social media?
I do not have much social media. Even when it comes to WhatsApp, I use my mother's phone number. So I am in touch with my friends, like through call and all, but social media presence I don't have.
Okay, the last month or two, it was kind of getting to be a drag, isn't it, with the COVID pandemic?
Yes, you're saying like before the exam? Before the exam, they say, right, the final mile is always the most difficult one. So, by then fatigue sets in, and as it is, our exam had always been postponed. So, for a long time now, it had been like that. But, well, I was able to push on, thankfully. But yeah, the last month is always the most, that's when it's most difficult to motivate yourself to study. So I used to listen to a lot of music. I know everyone loves music, but then I listened to a lot of music. So that was the main thing which helped me, calm down and keep going. That was another of my favorite ways to unwind, apart from all my hobbies.
What did your parents do or didn't do? Reti, can I call you? Dad of Mrinal is in fact an HR consultant. Mom is a software engineer. I know the grandmother in fact was the one who was coaching him since childhood. And so the entire family in a sense comes together when a child has to write such an exam, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think by God's grace, anything we told him, he always had a positive outlook. I mean, and used to take it in, even if he feels a little irritated at that time, but he reasons. So that I think is his credit.
Okay, when did you decide you want to become a medical doctor? I do know that you were going through the phase of chemical engineering, I'm going to do, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Up till like 7th, 8th, chemistry was my favorite subject. So that's why it was like chemical engineer. Then, primarily due to video games, I guess, I became interested in it's very childish now that I think about it. So
You spoke about armed forces also, I remember.
Yes, 9th, 10th and all, I was in that phase. Even when I started preparing for NEET actually, it was not about doctor, it was about army doctor particularly. Along the way, I became more and more interested in the medical aspect of it. So then it became about becoming a doctor, not particularly an army doctor. But it started off that way. So through the army doctor route, I came to my final wish of being a doctor.
People have this stereotype about children studying from class 6, coaching, and they'll start taking this coaching from then onwards, and no TV, nothing else you should do. You only took coaching in class 11 and 12.
Yes, 11 and for that I have my family to thank. Some of my classmates also went for coaching in 9th and 10th and all, but thanks to them I was able to lead a very, very normal, as unstressed as possible school life, because I only had to handle my 10th class academics, nothing else. So for that I have them to thank. So my school life I was able to enjoy to the fullest, and then when I came to 11th and 12th I could focus on NEET. I didn't really think about it before that. So
don't get stressed is your mantra. What do you want to tell to students out there, all of them looking at you as that model to emulate?
Don't be afraid to experiment. Like as you had pointed out, you read so many stories about toppers and so many students putting in 10 hours, 12 hours, some going on to say 16 hours and all. So don't get daunted by that. Figure out what works for you. If it's fewer hours a day, that's fine. If you're able to perform well, it doesn't matter if someone else is putting in more hours than you. What matters is that you're able to make the most of your time.
Okay.
So all I would say is, be free to experiment, be it in your study pattern.
Okay, very, very quickly, dream ahead. What is your road ahead?
If there's one thing I've learned is that, interests change a lot. I started with chemical engineer, right? So as such, I've not thought about it. My knowledge of medicine is also very, very limited, like the scope of the field itself. So I'll figure out.
COVID pandemic didn't scare you away from medicine.
If anything, it motivated me further. I mean, they were the country's last line of defense, right? Against the biggest crisis we faced in a long time. So that was when, I was like, I want to be one of those people kind of thing.
Okay, many, many congratulations. So someone who took inspiration after the COVID pandemic to become a medical doctor, and the road ahead looks certainly very, very bright. His mantra, don't get stressed out, see what works for you. Back to you, Gargi.